All right, well, hello there, people of the world. Welcome to my channel, Sir Cools a Lot. I hope you're staying very cool today. So I have been testing this product for a little while now. It was brought to my attention by a subscriber, and it's certainly caught my interest, and so I've already done a couple of videos with some driving around California, and so what I'm doing here is just completing that testing package with all of my usual stress testing that I do with products before I consider going live with medicine. So this product's the RX Coolers by For All Family. Of course, For All Family is sort of a product reseller, so you can also find this product under the name of MVIIOE. I think that's how you pronounce that. And also by an Alibaba company called Ningbo Crede Creative Gift Company. I think there's a few other companies or resellers out there that sell this particular design. So, but anyway, let's jump on in and let me show you what I have, and let me give you a really thorough tour of this product and what it might be possible to use it for. So here are all my disclaimers. Please pause this screen if you want to take a closer look. And of course, as you know, I have a number of travel scenarios, long distance driving, domestic travel, international travel, and I'm really on a quest to find the best medicine cooler products for my travel needs. So this kind of just gives you a quick tour of the product. So what's interesting about this item is that it's much more compact. And so depending on what your travel needs and your container storage needs are, this might be an interesting solution for you. The reason it caught my attention was I was interested in having maybe a more compact product for my 1 week trips, where I only really need to carry one, maybe two pens, depending on the sort of the start date for that trip. And so this product is very interesting because it allows you to do that, but it's also very compact. For All Family are quite good with products. It's a bit, some of them are a bit hit and miss, but the For All Family Voyager is a very nice product, and so I've been really hoping that this one also turns out to be a good product. As you know, I've already done some live drive testing with this product, and it's worked out really well. I've been impressed so far. So let me just show you the rest of the data package, and you can kind of judge for yourself. It's got a variety of temperature claims relating to what it can do relative to the outside ambient temperature. So of course, of interest for me, it can stay at 36 to 46 Fahrenheit under typical ambient temperatures, and it's able to continue to sustain those temperatures, or at least it's claimed to be able to continue to sustain those temperatures even when it goes up to 95 Fahrenheit. And then if you look very carefully at the little table that the product presents in its online website, when it goes to higher temperatures, say 104 Fahrenheit, it starts to lose its ability to cool, and you can see here that the company claims that it will stay between 46 and 79 Fahrenheit, which may or may not be of value to you depending on what you're trying to do with this cooler in terms of transportation. So let's keep on going and take a look at this more closely. As I mentioned, there's a couple of companies or resellers that are selling this product. Here you can sort of take a peek at some of them. So For All Family is selling this for nearly $140 on Amazon. And as I mentioned, there's another company called MVIIOE, I think that's how you pronounce that. They're also on Amazon, and they're actually selling exactly the same product for $107 with a 17% discount offer that they're claiming they're giving you as a good deal. But of course, you can go to Alibaba and basically figure out what the sort of the cost of goods, the manufacturer prices are for this, and I came across one here from one of the Alibaba sellers that has the units for $33.80 a piece. So that kind of gives you an idea of the potential profit that some of these companies are generating on Amazon. In any case, if it works, so be it. So let's keep on going. So this is just a video to give you a bit of a tour of what you get. So this is the box that I received. It's quite an elegant box. It has a little magnetic snap for when you open it, which I thought was quite elegant. So this is sort of approximately what you would get when you receive it. So you get an instruction manual. Note how it was poorly placed in the box originally, and so it's got kind of a crease across the side of the page. You get a little carrier bag, which is quite nice. A little bit on the cheap side in terms of the plastics and stuff for the hinges and whatnot. You get a gel container, and you get an empty container which they claim you can sort of put ice in there for emergencies if you want. You get a little carrier bag where you could perhaps pop your medicine in, and then of course you get two lids. The one lid is if you're using the biogel pack, and then the other lid which is attached is the USB lid, which gives you the active thermal cooling. And then this uses the design where there's an aluminium kind of heat sink type configuration that goes deep into the container unit. So yeah, so that's sort of basically what you get with the purchase of this product. So let's keep on going. Alright, so now a little bit about the carrier bag and the battery sizing. So one thing that's interesting about this unit is it's very compact. It's quite thin, but it's also quite long. So here you can sort of get a bit of an idea of how the carrier bag that comes with the product sort of comes together and works. So it sits very very snugly around the cooler. But one obvious thing right away is what to do with this pocket. And so of course, the best idea here would be to use it for the battery. However, as you can see here, quite obvious and quite quickly, you'll see that the weight of the battery really unbalances the setup here when it's in the carrier bag, and it will basically just fall to one side. And so that's something that I've already noted as being a sort of a negative with the carrier bag that's included, which is that it's not going to allow you to sort of rest it on its you'll only be able to rest it on its side. So I've got a couple of different batteries that you can sort of get a feel for. So the first battery I tried was my favorite, which is the MVIIOE Powerbank Classic, which has the 20,000 milliamp hours, 65 watts. The one that I was just trying there, which is a little bit bigger, is a newer battery that I've been playing around with. It's also MVIIOE, but this one's 27,000. And then here I'm showing the Anchor power bank. This is 25,000 milliamp hours. But what's kind of a little bit nicer about this one is that this power bank is kind of thinner and longer. And actually, just a heads up, I already started experimenting with how I would use this product in a real trip, because spoiler alert, I really like it. So actually I ordered this Anker power bank as a potential battery for this product for travel. The next one I'm going to show here is a power bank called iWalk, and actually this one was really nice. So it fits nicely in this pocket, but I mean, of course you can just get another carrier bag, but what I was also trying to do was sort of size up the batteries in terms of having something that would sort of sit quite elegantly on the side of the unit. Now again, of course, you know, whichever battery you use, it basically the weight is too heavy, and so the carrier bag will fall on its side when you try and stand it upright. So I think one obvious thing would be to replace this carrier bag with a carrier bag where the pocket actually reaches the floor, and then in this case, then it would allow the battery to sort of rest on the base, and then it wouldn't give the problem of it being off balance when you stand it on its side. So just something to think about. So if you are interested in getting this unit and using it for travel, you know, depending on how you want to set up your travel plan, you might have to just think about the you know, where you position the battery, the size of the battery, if you are going to use the carrier case that's included, finding a battery that will reasonably fit in there. And then of course, if you want to stand the unit upright, you're going to face problems with that with the current setup. So anyway, thought you might find that interesting. Just a heads up, all of these batteries, it turns out they work really well with the RX coolers. One careful watch out is, so the Anker batteries, they actually don't work well with the 4 family Voyager units. They will sort of time out and switch off within about 30 minutes or something. So be very careful about these Anker batteries if you want to try and use them for the 4 family Voyager, because you're likely to run into trouble with them kind of switching off and timing out and stuff. But all these batteries actually work really well for the RX cooler. Then of course, as you know, I really like the MVIIOE batteries. These have really served me well on many of my trips to date. So the newest one that I'm now playing around with is the iWalk battery pack, and this one also seems to work really nicely for the RX cooler, but I'm gonna test this a little bit more. Cool. All right. So as I mentioned, the carrier bag's kind of a problem, and so I started playing around with, I ordered a couple of products online to see if I could kind of zone in on something that I liked. One challenge with ordering a carrier bag for this product is just the fact that the width is very small and it's quite long, and so you sort of have to wrestle those geometries as you're trying different options that might work. You'll see what I mean here in this video. So I was playing around with these bags as examples, so you can kind of see that I'm getting really quite far now with preparing to use this product for an actual live trip with a medicine. So this bag was quite good. One obvious problem that you'll see pretty quickly is that actually the holder was a little bit too wide for the cooler, so I was actually hoping to get something a little bit more snug. And then the pocket on the side, so although the pocket was nice because it touched the floor, you can kind of see that the stability isn't that good with this bag. And then you might not be able to see this clearly, but also I wasn't quite happy with how thin the material was in relation to maybe it having a little bit of insulation properties and other things. And then lastly, I didn't quite like the zipper configuration. There was only one zipper, and the other piece you have to think about is wire management. The battery wiring needs to run out of that pocket to the cooler, and the zipper position wasn't quite right to allow the wiring to be kind of tidy. So here's another bag that I tried. This one was okay. Again, actually, this one was really thin. The pictures online were a little bit deceiving. It was almost like as thin as a tent if you've ever been camping. So I really didn't like how this was very, very thin. It didn't provide much protection. I wanted the carrier bag to have a little bit of padding, so that sort of light knocks and bumps would be nicely buffered. So you can you see how the zip there is to the top, and in order to completely close the zip, you have to zip it around the side and to the bottom, and so that creates a little bit of a problem because you can't basically run wires out of the pocket to the cooler without them sort of hanging out to the side. Another idea I had, actually, you can poke a little hole through the back side of the pocket into the main container as an alternative way to run the wiring, and so perhaps there's different ways to deal with that. So I kept the best till last. So this bag was a nice little surprise, because I almost thought that I had bad luck here with my first round of trying to find a bag. It turned out the pocket was actually really nice for this unit. It was almost perfect. So the unit just slid on in. It had a little tightening string, and then of course it had a really nice pocket that you could fit different battery sizes in, and so you can kind of get an idea. So you can get kind of here's the Inu battery, a lot of space. And then in terms of wire management, the zip was orientated slightly in the wrong direction that I was hoping for. As you can see there, it kind of zips from one side to the other, and so for wire management purposes, I'll probably poke a little hole through the back of the pocket to run the wire to the unit so that it's nice and tidy. But you can see the pocket's very tall, and so you can nicely fit the iWalk power bank in there. And look at how stable this is. I was giving it kind of little taps and stuff. And so stability wise, this one was really nice. It holds well, and even when you give it little knocks and stuff, it holds really well. And so this is really cool. So I think at this point, I'm probably going to give this bag a try with one of my upcoming trips, just to kind of see how it fares. So that's the Anker power bank there that's sitting in there. So you can see the pocket has it has quite an actually you could probably fit two iWalk power banks side by side in there, which may or may not be convenient depending on how you want to approach your travel packing. So I hope you found that interesting. Of course, I'm still playing around with that, but it might give you some ideas around how one might best travel with this container, and also needing to transport a battery, because clearly the carrier bag that they've provided is basically useless for that purpose if you're carrying a battery. All right, let's keep on going. So of course, now the question of how much can the cooler carry in terms of product. So on the left we've got our Zepbound pens, and then on the right we got the wegovy. So for the I'll start with the Zepbound. So for the Zepbound, you can of course fit one pen in there easily, and I also like to have a Tempify temperature probe in my units, and so there's actually enough space to place a unit, a Tempify unit in the container and close it. wegovy, of course, you can fit 4 pens in that reservoir, which is actually quite impressive given how compact it is. Now, going back to the Zepbound pen, you can of course actually fit 2 Zepbound pens, one in the inverted position, which you can kind of see like this, but the only snag now is there's not enough room for the Tempify temperature probe, which I kind of really like. So that's going to be a little bit of a trade-off. Will I carry 2 pens and not have a temperature probe, or will I only carry 1 pen and have a temperature probe? So something interesting. One cautionary note is when you do put 2 Zepbound pens in the aluminium tube, one does seem to slightly wedge over to the other, and so you may want to be a little bit careful about pushing the inverted Zepbound pen too far down. Perhaps a little bit of tissue, a small amount of tissue or something, just to keep it a little bit, keep the offset between the 2 pens a little bit better, so it doesn't wedge. You'll understand what I mean if you ever try that. So it's just something to think about. Cool. All right. Well, I'll keep on going. So now for the temperature, the thermal experimental testing and stuff. So here's my usual setup. I've got some SwitchBot temperature probes. I've got a Tempify probe. I've got a Aviva incubator that can both cool and heat. So you can do quite a lot in terms of temperature stress testing and so on. And so let me jump right on in and show you the results. So as I mentioned, I tested this product for quite a while. You can see here I actually started the testing at the beginning of June and had this unit running almost till the I think it was like the 16th or 17th of June by the time I finished. So it was running continuously for a good 2 or 3 weeks, two weeks, as I was playing around with different temperature conditions. And then of course, as you know, this unit was also stress tested live with 2 road trips from the Bay Area to Los Angeles that I did previously, and you may have already seen those 2 videos. So let me jump on in and just quickly give you an orientation. So the orange plot is the temperature of the incubator. The black plot is just the environmental temperature of the room that the testing is in. And then all of the blue plots are the different temperature probes that are inside the container. So to cut a long story short, overall this product did really well for typical sort of temperature ranges and so on. The main watch out that I would bring to your attention for this product is when you do start to go above sort of the 90s. If you can see here, when you start pressure testing or temperature testing this product above the sort of the 90s temperature zone, it will start to go a little bit out of range from that 36 to 46 Fahrenheit. But overall, other than really pushing it to the more extreme temperatures, this product did really well. You can see that overall it stays below 46. And then interestingly enough, do also watch out for very low temperatures. So when you go down to 60 Fahrenheit as your sort of ambient temperature, the product will start to skirt above the 46 Fahrenheit mark. And so in summary, so this product overall does really, really well in sort of the, let's call it the 70s to 90s Fahrenheit ambient temperature zone. But when you do push it down to 60 Fahrenheit or start pushing it to temperatures above sort of the 90s, 95 zone, it will start to lose its ability to stay between 36 and 46. So something to keep in mind. I also played around with different battery banks, and overall, all those batteries that I showed earlier, they can keep the unit running for a good 12, 15 plus hours per charge, which is just awesome. So the unit doesn't burn as much energy as the 4-All family Voyager. It's a little bit more energy efficient, it seems, and so the batteries seem to be able to last a little bit longer. These little spikes here, just don't worry about those. That's when the battery sort of basically lost its charge and the unit basically was starting to warm up to room temperature. So that's what these spikes are here. Sometimes I started an experiment and then went out for a few hours, and so I just wasn't able to come back and plug the unit back in and so on. So that's sort of the story for today. And so in summary, I think there are maybe a couple of points of interest. So I think overall, the product claims that it can stay between 36 and 46 for temperatures. Typical ambient temperatures around the 86 Fahrenheit mark, which is a definite yes, it can do that. In regards to temperatures above, when it sort of in that 95 Fahrenheit zone, the product claim is that it can also stay at the 36 to 46 mark. And actually, I'm going to give this a fail. When it gets to the 95 Fahrenheit mark, it does go above 46 Fahrenheit. And then, of course, with the much higher ambient temperatures, this product is only claimed to be able to stay between 46 and 79 Fahrenheit anyway. So it actually technically passes this, even though I was wanting it to stay below 46. So I think overall this is really great product. I put a question mark around driving around the state because I think you just have to be careful of the ambient temperature. So if you're in a car and you're really cranking up the air conditioning down to 60 Fahrenheit or something like this, just keep in mind that the unit sort of loses its cooling efficiency, and your product may actually drift above 46. Sounds counterintuitive, but just keep in mind that these thermal cooling units, they're most efficient around the 70 to 80 Fahrenheit mark, and when the ambient temperature really falls to very low temperatures or goes to very, very high temperatures, the unit becomes a little bit more inefficient in its ability to cool. And so you can kind of see this reflected in the data. So watch out with very, very cold air conditioning, and also watch out if you're driving or if you're in sort of a more desert-like environment where you're going to start touching the sort of the 95 to 100 Fahrenheit zone. This will not be the right product for those more extreme conditions. But if you're taking a trip, you're going through an airport, you're on a plane or something like this, I think this is a very, very viable product to use. So on that note, actually, I have a trip coming up next week where I'm going from the Bay Area to Sturgeon Bay in Wisconsin, and it's only a 1-week trip, and so I've decided to go live and transport live medicine with this RX cooler because I'm very impressed with what it can do. So that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed the information. This channel's really just getting up and running, and so yeah, please send me comments, suggestions. Would love to hear from you. And if not, I will wish you a very, very cool and lovely weekend.